So our next would be about the content analysis, contextual analysis, and the author's main argument or point of view. So, of course, they are research methods for studying sources, primary sources. Again, it can be analyzed, evaluated by different criteria, such as those, again, content analysis, contextual, and the author's argument. Because its advantage is to analyze social phenomena. In contrast to you 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 simulate a social experience or collecting survey answers. So, in contrast on those, it is to simply, easily, by doing content and contextual analysis and looking at the author. Which data are analyzed? How are data defined? What is the most relevant context? What is to be measured? What kind of document you have? When and where? If you are going to look at the author, what position, status, reputation, or role did the author have at the time of writing? So, it helps us to see why author make decisions they do. So our first on looking on its content, the context, and the author is The First Voyage Around the World by Magellan. So European uses spices for food preservations, flavor enhancement, or medicines. Because the spices or Asian goods are very profitable commodity. They are very valuable for Europeans. And of course, the Southeast Asian people are taking over the spice trade. But the trade was never easy because these Asian goods reach Europe through a Silk Road, and both are expensive and dangerous. But soon, the land route closed, so forcing the European to look for other ways to purchase these goods directly to the supplier. So they explore the ocean to look for a way to Spice Island. So we have the author, Antonio Pigafetta, born 1490, and his background is cartography, geography, and cartography. And since we are going to look at the background of the author, he worked in the ships. And why Magellan? Because according to our historians, Magellan believed that the earth is round, and he is knowledgeable about the geography because he is a Portuguese sailor and he worked on the outpost. So he has ideas on how to at least survive in the ocean. But when he asked for help to sponsor his voyage, the King of Portugal didn't believe that there is a route in the west. Yan, para makalusot sa east, ay they will be going in the route of west to go to east. So Magellan, having a no to the King of Portugal, he switched to Spain and accepted his idea. So about the voyage, here is the clickable. You have this underlined about the voyage, so you can see here the route of the expedition. So March 16, when they reached the Philippines, they encountered Bohol, Negros, Zamboanga, Tawi-Tawi, Palawan, Sulu, Basilan, and Maguindanao. With 5 ships, Victoria being the last, the remaining ship that reached or successfully returned to Spain. 18 out of 239 to 270 members. other ships, San Antonio, Trinidad, Concepcion, Santiago. So it tells about the political, economic, and social conditions of the island in the Visayan region. So before they entered the Philippines, they first saw the Landrones or Northern Mariana Islands, but never anchored there, so they moved on. And they found Samar, but landed in another island because they were afraid, because before they reached the Philippines, they were robbed by the people from Landrones. Because when I look at the people who rob are called Camoros, or those people who live in Landrones. So now they finally settled in Homonhon or Humuno Island. There is no one residing out there because the native, they believe that that place is sacred for our ancient Waray. Like it served as the home of of uh, our deities or powerful spiritual entities. So this island represented the spiritual belief of our ancestors. And that would also save the expedition from harm and conflict. So on the Spaniards' calendar, it was the feast day of San Lazarus. So they named our country as Archipelago of Saint Lazarus. And 9 men came from Suluan with food and coconut. So the Spaniards are amazed on how many products that the coconut can produce. Like the threads for fastening the boats, like the next layer, they burn it, become a powder that is useful, and even the meat of the coconut can be eaten, or it can be also made as a as what uh, they eat their bread, or also they can have this flour to make bread. And they also found mines of gold in Suluan and Calagan, which is very important to them because Europeans, they are other mercantilism where the wealth of a country is based on their gold, how many their gold is, or any product that can equivalent to gold. So they go to Raha Shawi's brother, which is Raha Kolambu in Limasawa. So going back to the calendar, exactly March 31, when they reached Limasawa, which is the Easter Sunday for them. So they conducted mass. They erected the cross in the highest part of Limasawa as the sign of Christianity. But also, if ever there will be Spaniards coming, then they will think of it as a comrade. And also, the natives are under the protection of the king. So, after uh, after Raahakulambu, he advised Magellan to choose Cebu, which is his trading partner. So they went to Cebu, and the natives of Cebu treat them as ordinary traders because they can also communicate with other foreigners. And the place was already a renowned market. But Magellan has to pay tax for anchoring in Cebu. But Raha Humabon was advised to deal with them diplomatically because they heard from their neighbors, Southeast Asian friends, that they are notorious. So they have to deal with these Spaniards diplomatically. So when they reach certain kind of agreement, they exchange blood as a sign of brotherhood. Magellan came, he preached about peace and God, about Christianity, and Raha Humabon was touched by theirs and they got interested. And also, they have this kind of talks that they will fight their enemies or make them supreme among the Rahas. So Raha Humabon accepted and got baptized, followed by other Cebuanos. And the wife of Raha Humabon noticed the image of the child Jesus, the, the Saint Nino, Santo Nino. Like she felt that there is a magnet, there is some kind of connection towards this image. And of course, Magellan gave the image and asked the people, the natives, to burn the idols, not just throw them away, but um, burn them because Europeans outside, everything that is outside of the religion, they will consider it demonic or barbaric. So, um, the next would be um, the Battle of Mactan happened because someone, I think it was a tribe leader also, somewhere or near Mactan that asked for Magellan's help to fight Lapu-Lapu. And of course, Magellan told the other Rahas that there is no need to join them as what Pigapetta uh, has observed. And also, when they went to the Mactan, they found 49 to 60 Spaniards and 1 5 Mactan warriors. And Pigafetta described the people of Mactan as valiant, like they know military tactics, they know how to fight, they know how to use weapons. Since uh, the warriors were divided into three sectors or section. So the battle begins. The Spaniards also burned houses, which angered Lapu-Lapu and his men even more. And they are smart enough. They have a strategy against Magellan because they've kind of noticed that their armors only protect the upper part of the body and not the lower part. So these warriors try to target these legs. So resulting Magellan being pierced with a poisoned arrow and beheaded him. Like um, when they knew who is like the general of the Spanish forces, they tried to focus on Magellan. So again, beheaded him as a sign of their um, win, like a trophy, sign of such achievement. So they returned to Cebu, but but some of the survivors were massacred. So they went back, exit, went to Palawan, Mindanao, Brunei, going back to the Philippines in Sulu and Maguindanao. And the last stop in the Philippines was Sarangani, which they were stranded. And finally, the last stop is Moluccas. They reached it in the same year. Like there it is, the Spice Island that we are looking for. So we are now looking on the other factors in the expedition. Magellan in the Philippines. So it was low tide in Punta Engano, Mactan. So it is a very rocky. So the canyons in their ships were useless. So they decided to move on foot with a very heavy armor. So before they could strike or run, they are tired. So after the Battle of Mactan, typhoon season after, stranded in Sarangani. Like they still, even though Europeans have these kind of information about things, they are still unfamiliar with the climate change. They underestimated the Pacific Ocean, but thanks to summer, they are saved. They were hungry, they were sick, and they have no supplies. But thanks to summer, they are safe. So, there is a context why the Battle of Mactan happened. Nakialam sila bigla sa affairs. Yeah, the conflict among the Datus. They tried to be in between. They tried to deal among the Datus. Kaya umalma si Lapu-Lapu. Lapu-Lapu didn't like the interference of Magellan. But we don't just look at the side of Magellan. His circumnavigation is an achievement of science and humanity. Like people know the earth is round, but no one is initiating. Like, where is the facts? Where can we base it? The discovery of other lands or Pigafetta mapping the like the ocean or what he can see when they are sailing. Like it is documented by Antonio Pigafetta and also others. I think there are also other people who document or write during the expedition because they always search for territories, spices. So there is an addition when it comes to um, information about humanity or about the world. But its impact to the Philippines, we were colonized. So through this account of Pigafetta, we knew how hospitable our ancestors and the expedition had stocked their supply of their food so they can continue. If the summer people didn't supply the expedition, then there will be no first circumnavigation. And lastly, again, to the unknown to the Europeans, like Pigafetta. When I tried to read Pigafetta's account or some parts of Pigafetta, they he kind of highlight the things that he seems to be valuable for Europeans on his journal. His observations in the Philippines, like the gold being abundant in the Philippines, like it is normal for it to be a decoration inside the house. And also, Pigafetta didn't take into account the climate of the Philippines. That's why we have fewer clothes. Unlike them, also the houses small, made of simply bamboo because of our tropical, being a tropical country. So our natives have to come up with ways to be ventilated. Since again, Europeans thought that the Philippines or those uncovered territories or places were Especially the Pacific Ocean is a region of sea monsters like a mermaid. I think that's why we have the logo of Starbucks. I think other people are claiming that. And also, I think the Philippines became the heart of the world because of the trade and the understanding of the earth being round improved when the expedition Magellan realized that they already reached the other side of the world. Upon meeting familiar people of Southeast Asia, and those were our ancestors, or even our ancestors being able to communicate with this Southeast Asian language. So, um, we already commemorated like 500 years when Magellan came to the Philippines. Though it brought sufferings to our ancestors, miseries to our already cultured ancestors, we must also again appreciate the things beneficial to us in this first circumnavigation. Because at the end of the day, what happened in the past is part of our being and becoming Filipinos today. Because seeing ourselves in what it seems a history of Spanish fleet who happened to reach our shores by accident is ours to own and hone. We need a lens in seeing this contact of our ancestors with the world. Our ancestors influence the destiny, destination, and fate of the first circumnavigators of the world. And again, who gave a lasting legacy in science and humanity.